Breaking news, Randy Orton is gonna miss WWE Backlash. Well, we were gonna do predictions and that just changed it up a little bit according to PW Insider. He is out. Now, what does that mean for the pay-per-view? I will say this, is we're going to look at all the matches in this video. Right now on screen, you are seeing AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose. Now, the money line has shifted quite a bit. If you guys don't know what that is, basically Dean Ambrose was the favorite, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, AJ Styles became the huge money favorite. Whether that's by DQ or something fishy, we'll have to wait and see. But tonight at the pay-per-view, we have, until a little bit ago, we had about 7 matches on the card. Right now, it's looking like The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. You have the Usos versus the Hype Bros. And then the winner of that will go on to face Heath Slater and Rhino. You have the 6-pack elimination challenge, and then Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles. So as of right now, you only have 5 matches on the card. That makes me wonder, is this going to be a 2-hour event or will this be a 3-hour event? That's something I don't think we've really gotten to know as of yet. As you look at the matches on the card, not that exciting of a card, I'll be honest with you. It's a little bit of a bummer, but you're doing 2 big things. You're crowning 2 first-ever champions, which is doing something kind of big, so let's talk about it. Now, we'll start with the tag teams. Basically, American Alpha got the victory over the Usos in record fashion in about 28 seconds, and the Usos turned heel, which was absolutely phenomenal. This is one of the things I've been talking about forever. The biggest complaint people have had is 50-50 booking. You start to get a win, and then you lose, and you can't get anywhere going. But WWE continues to do that, but now they actually give you a reason why you possibly can't win. Think Sami Zayn selling his injury when Seth Rollins faced his opponent, and he had the mystery of, oh, look, he just hurt Finn Balor. Sami had to hold the ankle, and now a bunch of matches we're finally starting to bring back psychology again to give guys a reason to lose, whether it be injury. So the fact that they took out American Alpha, the favorites to win, and kept them away from it is what's going to make them go for the chase even more exciting. So I'm perfectly fine with American Alpha getting taken out with Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, with Gable taking the MCL sprain, so to speak. Here you have 2 unique, interesting scenarios. Heath Slater and Rhino, will they get their jobs? Or will the Usos, the heel team, or the Hype Bros finally get their redemption? It would be kind of cool for the Hype Bros to win, I'm not going to lie. As far as Heath Slater and Rhino goes, it reminds me of Cody Rhodes and Goldust. You're essentially fighting for your jobs, and when you finally get that victory, you win. You're kind of getting behind Heath Slater. I think there would be more to it if Heath was to come up short on pay-per-view, and the crowd has more sympathy for him, if I'm being honest. I truly think that the Usos as a heel team winning and having American Alpha chase him would be a lot better. That's just me personally for what I think it would be a good storyline based on what happened in this tournament. And that way Heath Slater can go on to do something else to get his job and not necessarily be a tag team champion. Now, I would not be against them being a tag team champion at all. I think if they were to win, that's fine. And if my prediction's wrong, I'll welcome it. Now, as we move on to crowning the first ever women's champion, again, it changed a little bit. You had the original favorite was Nikki Bella, and now it has kind of shifted. Now, I will say this. There's a lot of great options in this match. Becky Lynch could be the face of SmackDown for the women's division, essentially. You could have it on somebody like Carmella. Now, based on the feuds that have been happening, I don't see Carmella or Nikki Bella winning. Now, if Nikki Bella was to win and Carmella was beating her up, now she has a reason, if Nikki wins, for Carmella to come out and challenge for the title. You know, I beat you down, and Nikki's like, no, I'm not going to give you a challenge. Then she continues to beat her down, and that would put Carmella on the map. We've already seen Becky Lynch for a year. We have not really seen Alexa Bliss and Carmella. So looking at it that way, I think that would be a good way to go if you were to give Nikki Bella the title, because she has been beating down Carmella, similar to the whole Eva Marie storyline from before, and you had people going at it with Alexa Bliss debuting and beating Becky Lynch out of nowhere. So there's a lot of stories that they could go, or different directions that the WWE could go in the women's division. I'm going to make my prediction here, and I am going to say I don't really need it to be a prediction because if I'm wrong, I don't really care. I'm going to go ahead and say you give it to... That's a tough one. I'm just kidding. I'm going to say Becky Lynch gets it just because I think it would be awesome for her to have the title. It would make more sense for somebody else to get it. I will just say that. Not that I don't want Becky Lynch to have it or she doesn't deserve it. I just see they're going other routes possibly because you had Alexa Bliss get a surprise victory over Becky Lynch. And now that Becky's champion, Becky could beat Alexa Bliss. That's old championship booking. So again, I would be fine with that, similar to Nikki and Carmella. So if Becky was to win, I think Alexa Bliss might be her next challenger. I'll just say that. All right, let's move on to The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. Kind of a weird match, right? The Miz comes out and basically calls out in one of the best promos against Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack. Shows why The Miz, and I've said this for the last year, I said if you want to be a heel in 2016, the guy that actually gets booed, what do? You watch tape of The Miz because whether or not The Miz is doing anything big, he's staying relevant. A guy that's been around for 10 years is continually staying relevant versus guys like Dolph Ziggler are fighting a little bit more because they keep getting let down and let down. So Dolph Ziggler stepped up against Dean Ambrose at SummerSlam. Not really my favorite match, I'll be honest. We were supposed to get this big in-ring technician match. I was a little disappointed with it. Now Dolph Ziggler, after not winning the big one, comes out and challenges The Miz, which, again, it doesn't necessarily seem right, but I'm not going to complain because that's what was presented to me on TV. And in that aspect, what was presented to me on TV is this would be a great opportunity to Dolph Ziggler to finally show he could win the big one and then possibly see a champion versus champion match down the line. Miz, I think he has more to do in his title reign. I think he has done a great job of, going after the Daniel Bryan as the GM. I think him being kind of distracted with that could be something, but I have no problem with The Miz retaining here and Dolph Ziggler losing, because again, you go from a title match, you go to the Intercontinental Championship match, and then maybe Dolph is just, it's 2 championships he lost in a row. Maybe he becomes a tag team and he tries something else. Maybe he tries to find his shtick, because right now HB Ziggler just isn't working, if I'm being honest with you, and that's coming from a guy that really loves Dolph Ziggler. I wouldn't be surprised here if we see the old spot where The Miz is grabbing the rope, Ziggler goes for it and puts him down, and then a skull-crushing finale to finish it off. I will say Miz's build, against Apollo Crews, wasn't a big fan. I think they have a potential to put on a really good match here, and it might be one of the better matches of the night. Now, since Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton was removed, I would have talked about a little bit what I would have liked to see. Now, Bray Wyatt definitely could have used a victory. You could have had Randy Orton brush it off to the fact that he had a TKO loss to Brock Lesnar. And right now it looks like he is not going to be cleared to compete, and we're not going to see Randy Orton tonight. Now, that was according to PW Insider, which, by the way, I don't think there's a worse website when it comes to dirt sheets for the amount of ads they have. I know I make ads on YouTube videos, but PW Insider, there's 15 of them. There's pop-ups. Oh, my God. That's why I go to Wrestling Inc., if I'm being honest with you. But I'm a little disappointed the match was kind of taken off, because this is one I was looking forward to. There is a chance that this match still happens, that this is kind of a work possibly, or how are they going to handle it? Is it going to be a backstage beatdown where Bray Wyatt takes him out? Are we going to see some sort of interference? Will the match never even get started? I would love to know what you guys think in the comment section below, that if he isn't clear to compete tonight and he's not wrestling, where do you see him go? What do you see him do to be able to keep prolonging this and make it into something that you actually care about, or something that is relevant? Now, would they add any other matches on the card? I wouldn't be surprised if they add in a bunch of, tag team matches or something. It all depends on how far the actual pay-per-view is. I'm guessing it is going to be a 3-hour pay-per-view. If it is a 2-hour pay-per-view, I would prefer these branded pay-per-views to possibly be 2 hours. NXT is great because they get their shit in. They're all good matches. There isn't anything that's kind of like a scrub match on the NXT pay-per-views. And that's kind of what a pay-per-view should be. You should have those big opportunities available. And out of all these matches on the card, I think they could all bring something unique to the table. But going into the main event, you have Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles. Now, I've seen so many different comments from people that think they know the business. There isn't a right or wrong way to do thing in 2016. There's not one set way. There's a lot of people saying AJ needs to win, or AJ Styles shouldn't win the title this fast. You can't please people. The same people that wanted him to win against Roman Reigns and said, kind of screw the WWE if he doesn't win. Now it's too early for him to beat Dean. I don't know. Like I said, the money line shifted and basically made it so AJ Styles is the favorite to win, similar to Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, where they think some sort of a weird, wonky finish is going to happen. Now, I will say this. I was always hoping for AJ Styles to be involved in the club, the Bullet Club coming over to SmackDown, having some sort of invasion. I thought that would be awesome and cool, and then Finn goes and gets hurt, and I don't know if they'll ever pursue that. AJ deciding to be, the big troll with the never give up stuff. Some people have said they're making AJ Styles look too fucking goofy as like the top. He could be the top guy, and they're making him look stupid, which I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he beat John Cena at WWE SummerSlam in the middle of the ring clean to send Cena off of TV, to go do everything that he's got to do. So I'm perfectly fine with AJ Styles getting a victory here. AJ Styles beat the face that runs the place. And when you take into consideration how big of a deal that is, the next step to going on to beating Dean Ambrose would make a lot of sense. Now, just because he's bragging and he's being all up in his face, an out of nowhere victory for Dean Ambrose or a loss would definitely help propel AJ Styles a little bit more. Maybe he has to focus a little bit more. Maybe he has to tell more to his story versus getting his title. Maybe we see somebody like Samoa Joe debut and take away his opportunity. I'm just kidding. That probably won't happen. But how awesome would it be? You're not going to be a champion at WWE before I am. Similar to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I will say this. This match is going to be the best match of the night, most likely. And I'll be honest with you. I want to know how many finishers the guys are going to be able to go for. Because in this match, I wanted to make something as the Phenomenal Forearm isn't in as a signature finisher, so you kind of had to do it a little weird, which makes it a little hard. But I think that if there is a winning sequence, and you have AJ Styles going out there and pulling the W, you have to wonder kind of like what's next. Who's going to challenge him? As Dean Ambrose obviously would get his rematch right away, but who would then step up as a big face on the roster against him? How crazy would it be if Heath Slater got the opportunity? All right, champ, now go out and try to beat AJ Styles, the champion. And somehow, some way, he rolls up AJ Styles to get his job. In the biggest upset in history, the guy that beat John Cena, the face that runs the place, gets beat by AJ Styles, and then AJ Styles loses to Heath Slater to get his job. It doesn't hurt AJ Styles whatsoever. He's the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but goddamn, that would help Heath Slater. That's why I think Slater losing and the Usos winning to eventually have American Alpha overcome and win is what you want to have to do, just like the Revival when they ultimately won him back, though. So if it's me, if I'm calling it here, I say AJ Styles wins to ultimately maybe do something with Heath Slater. Let Heath Slater win and get his job. But then when he has a pay-per-view match for the actual title, oh, sorry you lost, but guess what? You still have a job with the WWE. How crazy would that be? Heath Slater gets the title opportunity for his family. That would be absolutely insane to me, and I would love it. So I want to know what you guys think of the pay-per-view tonight. Will we see Bray Wyatt? Will we see Randy Orton? Let me know what your predictions are in the comment section below. I will be doing a live stream after. You guys can check that link out in the description. It will be a call-in show, and that'll wrap it up for me. So until next time, my name is Tubby. Thank you very much for joining me, and we will see you all tonight after WWE Backlash.